Hello, this is Grumpy Old Men. My name is, as it says here, Tim Newton.
And I am T. Rosse. It's too shiny. Someone sent me a shiny shirt.
So just to tell you about the shirts, one of our viewer, his name is Leonardo. Now it could have been Leonardo DiCaprio for all I know.
Probably was. Let's go with that. It was Leonardo DiCaprio.
Because I think there's only one Leonardo in the world, and that's Mr. DiCaprio.
Well, we established the leader of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was Leonardo.
But was he the leader?
Yes.
I thought they were all like democratic. They were all...
Oh, no. He's the oldest. They're four brothers, and Leonardo was the oldest. Raphael was the biggest and strongest. Donatello was the scientist, and Michelangelo, or Mikey, was the youngest and most impulsive, and the one who had all the punchlines, the one who had all the jokes.
Ka-ching.
Now I have a son.
And Leonardo was the leader.
Leonardo was the oldest and the wisest and the leader.
Because you brought your children up on Teenage
cartoons,
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
on cartoons and anime and stuff. Yeah.
And we were trying to remember the name of the rat, who's the sort of the sensei.
Yeah, the mentor figure. Yeah.
And his name was
Splinter.
I was wondering if after half an hour you'd forgotten.
No. No, give me another half hour, it may. But it's very close to Shredder, who was the villain. Splinter and Shredder. It seems too close to me. If I was editing this comic book, I would say those names are too similar.
So I've got my shirt on. They're, well, luckily I've got the figure to be able to carry a shirt like this.
I don't. Unfortunately, mine don't fit. I tried them on, and they're lovely. They're beautiful shirts. It's 100% cotton, and it's stitched. It's not like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's stitched on there.
I think we call it embroidered.
Yeah, embroidered, right.
Now, curiously, it's got a capital P. It's Grumpy Old Men.
Yeah, just...
But I tell you what, Leonardo, what we're going to do, we're going to find some young, attractive ladies. Yeah. You might be able to find a few. Some of your harem that hang around.
Yeah.
And we'll get them into the shirts and get some photos that we can post on our website, which we don't have. But Steve will put them on his Facebook page. I'll put a few on mine. Yeah. Leonardo, we really appreciate the effort.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a really sweet gesture.
A white and a black one each, with Grumpy Old Men.
And the names
and
right there.
Yeah.
It's a really thoughtful gift. Thank you very much. I just can't squeeze into mine. It's 10 pounds of crap in a 5-pound bag.
So everybody else who's out there are wondering what they could perhaps prepare as gifts. I'm thinking a new car.
Sure.
Each.
Get it in 4X so I fit into it. But
I don't think cars come in 4X. Maybe you'd need a larger engine.
Just to be safe, ask if they have it in 4X.
And we've got a Bob here. Can Bob be seen? Oh, there he is.
Yeah,
it's right down the bottom there.
All right.
Bob, just in case Steve misspeaks, which is a very strong possibility. Thank you, Leonardo, and welcome everybody. We've got plenty. You have a lot of topics to talk about. I was going to start off by talking about, and I foreshadowed this on my Saturday morning rant, and that is AI. Much bandied about word. I sort of think it's going to be the term of 2024 is AI. And a lot of people, the other day there was a story in the Bangkok Post, and it had a photo of a freeway with sort of boxes drawn around the car saying AI is going to check out your number plates. I'm thinking, no, that's not AI. That's just a computer being programmed to do a certain thing, and
pixel
it's doing
recognition or something like that.
Yeah.
It's doing that. That's been doing that for years.
Artificial intelligence is when it actually learns and then applies what it's learning to whatever it's doing in the future. Which brings me to a song that I posted on my Facebook page. I'm sure you've heard it.
Oh, that song, the AI-generated theme song.
Well, there was the AI-generated Grumpy Old Men song, which I think we're going to have to keep on working on that. I was going for a bit of a James Bond feel. I thought we could get into a tuxedo with some martinis.
All right. Yeah.
fit young ladies draped around our shoulders and do a bit of a sort of a James Bond thing, but hasn't come up with the goods yet. Mind you, this is a free service, so we'll see what it comes up with. But I don't need a musician, I don't need a writer, I don't need a lyricist, I don't need I don't need drummers, heaven forbid, or any other expensive and annoying session musos. I don't need a producer.
A studio.
So, in the future, we might be listening to music that has been generated entirely inside a computer. And I'm sort of thinking, do I like that or not? And I'm not particularly worried. I think the thing is whether we know if it's generated by a computer or AI before we hear it. And then are we going to judge it on an entirely different set of sort of parameters than we might judge a song? But isn't most art, you either like it or you don't? What do you think?
I think, well, it's a very deep and complex subject.
Thanks, Steve. And now moving on to our next topic.
And we haven't mentioned where we are yet this morning.
Where are we, Steve?
We're at the Aquella golf course again. And I am coming to love the Aquella golf course. If you're anywhere around Phang and you golf, or even if you just eat, come and check it out. I have avoided this place for 2 years because I thought, I dreamed for 25 years of living on the beach in Thailand, and I've got this beautiful place I enjoy, and I live for pennies, and I live on my Social Security. And why would I want to go to a 5-star resort, to a 5-star golf resort? Well, after lunch today, it was a great lunch. They have much reduced prices in their menu. I went and I tried to try on this shirt in the dressing room, had some free mouthwash.
I could live in the change room.
Yeah,
it's enormous.
Yeah, and it's very comfortable, and I'm really coming to appreciate the Aquella. It took me 2 years to get there. As far as AI goes, I think it is Spielberg's probably not his best movie, and it ended the career of Haley Joel Osment, didn't it? But he locked down that title, AI, 20 years ago. If he had not used that title, for sure somebody would have a TV show or a Netflix series or a movie called AI right now. It's that big in the world of...
I remember that.
Yeah, right? It's Haley Joel Osment plays a little boy. It's Pinocchio. It's a retelling of Pinocchio, but the doll is a robot. And it's a sad, horrifically sad. What happens to this? It's happening to a robot, but it's a child. And it's a child we're familiar with. Haley Joel Osment was big at that time. And
he was big being small.
Yes, and he goes through all kinds of terrible ordeals. And it was not well received at all. I don't think it was Spielberg's best movie. But he took that title, and now you can't use it. So I was just wondering what would we be seeing as far as what you're talking about, like, are we going to appreciate music that is created in a computer? I don't know, because I stopped appreciating music when Lynyrd Skynyrd hit the ground. I haven't turned on to new music since 1975. I don't know. It's not going to change my life.
Isn't that a bit odd that you haven't?
No, I don't think so. I think everybody's musical tastes are set in concrete by the age of 17.
I'm still listening to new
weird.
New music every day.
You're an aberration. Yeah, well, I suppose there are people who do that. I personally, I don't. I have never, caught up with rap or hip hop or world music or anything. I after 1975, I don't know anything about music. I do know that I am bothered when I read something that is obviously generated by AI, that is somebody's trying to pass it off to me as real writing. It's either
but that's the point, isn't it? If it said at the top, generated by AI, would you feel okay about it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. But I think that is not whether or not people should be using AI to create music or visual art or journalism, but should they be passing that off as created by a human being? And I personally feel cheated if I read a news article that is so poorly written by AI that I can't make heads or tails out of it. I can't make sense out of it. And I feel cheated, and I feel angry at the publication that tried to foist that off on me.
And there are a number of publications here in Thailand in the English language which use AI extensively now, I believe to their detriment.
Yeah.
Because at some stage it catches up with you, because people go, AI, and it only needs 2 or 3 times, and I figure that they're just going to stop reading it.
Yeah, you'll lose clicks. I would guess, but what do I know? Yeah,
you haven't listened to music since 1975.
I haven't listened to music since 1975, and I'm like one of these guys who says, you know, if they tax us expats, we'll all leave. They're killing the goose that lays the golden eggs. Leave, dude. They don't want you here. Leave. You're nothing. You're less than nothing.
You've just swung to a different topic.
Well, what I'm saying is I'm like that about AI in publications. I say, well, you know, your readers will all leave. You'll lose clicks. You'll lose views. I have nothing to base that on except my own prejudice. I will stop looking at your publication. But I'm one guy on a beach. Who cares what Steve Ross looks at? I'm not going to look at any of the ads anyway. So nobody cares what I think. So I was just making that correlation between these guys thinking they're so important and Steve thinking his click on The Nation or the Bangkok Post is that important.
But even with writing stories, I mean, at some stage people were tapping it out on a typewriter, then they were tapping it out on a Olivetti, an electronic Olivetti, and then they were doing it on a word processor, and so there's always been a technological change in that regard, the method of getting from here into the publication. With the music, if you think about it, well, the Moog synthesizer came around in the...
Isn't it Moog?
I called it Moog.
It's 2 O's, I think. Yeah, I don't know.
Moog, the Moog synthesizer.
Again, I haven't learned anything since '75, so what do I know?
And so I think people were horrified when that turned up and said, well, it's not a guitar, it's not a piano, it's not a flugelhorn. How can they dare use something that's generated by electricity? And then they started, they got rid of tape and they started recording the music digitally, such that now there would be a lot of pop music, especially pop music, that would be entirely created in the studio without a single musician playing an instrument. So
and yet they took Milli Vanilli's Grammy away. Injustice, my friend.
Shocking.
Yeah, and my reaction to auto-tune, auto-tune to me is like nails on a blackboard, but it's completely accepted now, and you hear it all over the place, and that's not singing.
And mostly you don't hear it, because these days it's so well used that
you don't recognize it as auto-tune.
Yeah,
it has lost that tinny reverb
that was
quality.
Then Cher turned it into a song with Believe. She actually turned up the auto-tune, and actually that filter made it. Anyway.
Oh, that's right.
Yes,
that's right.
She actually
used it
weaponized
consciously. Yeah. Well, see, in that case, she wasn't trying to hide anything from anybody. She wasn't trying to fake anything, and I respect that. You can use, you can bang on pots and pans to make music, as far as I'm concerned, if it's a human being making the music and not trying to pass it off as.
Well, so then you got the human sitting down with the computer doing violins and guitars and piano. They're not actually playing a violin or a piano or a guitar. Drums, we got rid of drummers 20 years ago. Some might say that was a good thing.
Sorry, Neil Peart.
I am joking. Yeah. But now we've just taken that extra step where we've put all the music that's ever been recorded into a computer, and we've said, okay, learn from this, and then output. All you do is you put in prompts. So I could put in Steve Ross with an E.
Always a good place to start. Oh, go on.
Comma, collecting trash, or if you're from Australia, garbage. Comma, living on a beach. Comma, grumpy old man, and it will write a song in a particular genre that you choose. What would be the genre you choose? Leonard Skinner,
pre-1975 Southern rock. Yeah.
Southern rock.
In the vein of Allman Brothers. Yeah.
There you go.
Black Oak, Arkansas.
And in 30 seconds, it will create a song with those words in the lyrics, coherently, not necessarily really well, but if you don't like it the first time you hear it, you hit the button again and it'll generate another version and another one. And overnight, it could generate thousands of different iterations of that selection of words for you to choose from.
And one of them will be acceptable and decent lyrics. The odds say, right, you put enough monkeys on enough typewriters, one will write Hamlet. Yeah.
But then you got a human selecting the one that they like. I don't know.
At least some human input.
Sure. Now, they've now got this being added to video, such as you can put in prompts, Turtle Beach, wet season, collecting trash, and it would put together a video of somebody walking along picking up trash on a beach in the wet season. And if you don't like that vision that it creates, you hit the go button and it'll do another version and another version.
Who was the viewer who's already done photos of us, of grumpy old men in various genres?
That's right.
Who was, oh, I'm sorry, what's your...
Yes, I remember him too.
Oh.
Good old so-and-so.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun for a couple episodes
Sure.
with those things, didn't we? So I suppose it's a small step to then animate that into film.
Yeah.
So they could have the two of us doing all sorts of outrageous things.
So I saw somebody posted a completely AI generated song with a video clip with it today. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but there will be a time in the future where you could do a movie by saying, here's the plot, it'll write the script, it'll put the actors on the screen of whatever you want them to look like.
Yeah, it'll be titled Fast and Furious 11, and nobody will know the difference. It'll be just like every other Fast and Furious. Human beings are already creating art using all kinds of formulae. That's why we have genres: romance, western, detective, noir. It's all written to a recipe of tropes. We're doing that. All we're doing now is farming that out to a machine to pick through the tropes and stitch them together and throw in a car chase and a tongue kiss, and you got a movie.
It threw me with that last one. So, okay.
You know, not for the Indian or Chinese markets. No tongue kissings for the Indian or Chinese markets.
But here's the question. Okay, that's relatively harmless. A machine's created something. We're either going to like it or we're going to laugh at it. And it'll probably get better and better. One day somebody will come up with it and say, oh, I made it and it was made by a machine, and we'll all go, oh, I'm shocked. And okay, so it's all relatively harmless.
Didn't the writers in Hollywood just go on strike about this issue? I think we just had, what, eight months of writer's strike in Hollywood over the issue of AI created content. Didn't we?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
Somebody in the comment section, correct me if I'm wrong.
No,
I'm saying
exactly
I don't
right.
think it's harmless if you work in the arts. You know, it's only harmless if you're not a writer. If you're not a musician, then yeah, it's harmless. Yeah.
But hang on, what about the guy who used to make the 12-inch plastic Bakelite records? When they came along with the 8-track or the CD,
yeah.
he would have thought, oh my God, I've been put out of business.
Yeah, the wheelwrights, the silversmiths, yeah. And people, and then other jobs are created, we assume, for these people to go work in, yeah.
So let's just remove that particular issue, because there will always be a new way of doing something that's going to put somebody else out of a job. There will be at some stage some other grumpy old person who will put us out of a job. They'll be better grumpies than us.
Literally, I was a medical transcriptionist, and that job in the 2000s was taken over by not AI, but voice recognition software.
Yeah.
And I only was able to work to retirement because old doctors don't want to learn how to use the new software. And so anywhere there are old physicians employed, you would find an old medical transcriptionist. But another 10 years and there won't be any human transcriptionists working in law or in medicine.
So what are most of this is relatively benign as far as we're either creatively going to enjoy it or we're not. And I don't think that's going to necessarily hurt it's not going to ruin civilization. But how could AI actually destroy something important?
Well,
Because
they could
we-
murder Sarah Connor. It could come back from the future and murder Sarah Connor. Ha! Run rings around you, logically.
Okay.
Meet George Jetson. Do 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 do.
Yeah, but there's a lot of fear of AI, and I sort of get that, and I understand the implications for some jobs and the labour market, but I still think, and that's the issue,
I haven't seen sign of it. But go on.
that the computers are still going to need some sort of guidance to ask them what to do. I mean, to create that song, I still had to put the prompts into the computer to get something out of it. And, somebody said if you're worried about it, just pull the plug. If you don't supply power to the computer, it's not going to be able to
They tried
make
that
AI.
with Hal in the movie 2001 Space Odyssey. It didn't work. Pulling the plug didn't work, did it?
Yes, in the end it did.
Is that what finally killed Hal? He pulled the plug.
What song
Boy.
was Hal singing when he eventually died?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
I named my dog after the song he was singing.
I don't know.
Daisy. Daisy,
Oh.
Daisy.
I'll be damned. I should know that. I should remember that. Yeah, lifestyle choices. Lifestyle choices have left
Next
my
time
memory
you're
very
running
porous.
your charity Trivial Pursuit night, put me on your team. I'm your man. I can remember everything that's not important. But I don't know, where is AI going to ruin civilization? Or is it going to become, in most regards, a tool that humans can use to make things better? You can get it to go through thousands of formula in a short time to perhaps come up with a cure for a disease. There's so many ways that it may be used for good. I'm absolutely sure that there are many, many millions of scammers out there now working out ways that they can use artificial intelligence to come up with ways of removing money from the pockets of foolish people.
Yeah, I agree with all of that.
Yeah.
I think, ultimately, it's not going to change life on Turtle Beach in my lifetime. So I can't get my nipples hard about it. It just isn't something that I care about either way. It's not let my children worry about that.
I'm sad that we're not going to see your nipples hard. No.
They're always
There's-
hard. Yeah. It's cold in here. It's cold in here, man. It's actually very nice, and I am loving the hell out of the Aquella. But who are these fella? There's whole tables full of Phang here, old Phang men I've never seen before.
One's got a cigar hanging out of
He
his
does.
mouth.
He's got a great bag. And
God.
there's a sign right there that says no smoking. I'm going to go talk to him. But no, I don't know who these guys are. They must come from Phuket or Khao Lak, I imagine. They're not from Thailand.
Fetching young lady there as well. She might be the caddy.
Or the pro. Or the
don't
pro.
know. I don't know.
The pro.
You're getting, you're zoning out. So yeah, we'll be interested to know what you think about AI. Is it something that you're even vaguely concerned about? Do you think there are particular occupations it's going to affect more than others? Somebody said, it'll be taking over your job, Tim. Well, maybe you can say, read Thai publications in English and paraphrase them and do it in the style of Tim Newton. Maybe that'll happen.
The reading, perhaps, the choosing of what is important enough to include in a half-hour show. That kind of intelligence, I think we're not there yet.
Intelligence.
Yeah, certainly the judgment to know which stories will attract an audience, which stories are relevant, which stories weren't repeated in so many sources that it's not worth repeating it here. I think that kind of human judgment, we're not there yet. We may get there someday. Everything can be reduced to a formula, I suppose. But
Interesting
right
times.
now, we're not there.
I find it fascinating, interesting. I love playing with it. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't really think anybody does. They may not be able to get artificial intelligence to stick bottle tops onto a paper mache thing. Turtle.
Yeah. No, they probably won't. And perhaps that is part of the definition of art. People are always constantly telling me what you do is not art, it's barely craft. And perhaps what makes it art.
Who has said that it's not? That's not nice.
No, but some commenters have said, and they have every right to say that. Art. I may not know art, but I know what I like. Harry Truman, or Eisenhower. I think it was Eisenhower. But yeah, the conversation, the question of what separates art from craft and what separates craft from technique is 1,000 graduate students will write a dissertation on this subject this year. So people are very welcome to look at what I make and say that's not art. I don't have any argument with that. But it may be that human element that eventually separates what the machine creates and what human beings separate.
Interesting times ahead. I'm excited. Steve doesn't care.
Not a bit.
We'd like to
Not
know
a bit.
what you think about it as well. AI. Okay, so let's go to some of your topics. We sort
right.
of fleshed out that one as Steve reaches for Narelle's notepad.
Which I've printed out. We had a lot of response to one of our questions from the Brain Trust. So I carry it in Narelle's notebook, but it's actually printed out.
God. Burned a few trees on this one.
Actually,
Got pages of notes.
yeah, Steve. We'll start with Steve. Well, it's all printed in 14-point font, double space, so I can read it. There's not really that much here, and most of it is what our viewers said in answer to a question. So I want to share with you. We asked a question last week, and you guys responded. I want to share the answers with you. First of all, I'll start with some housekeeping. Steve got it wrong. The Phuket heroines fought their battle in 1785. I had said it was the 15 or 1600s, so I was off by either 100 or 200 years. So 1785, about 10 years, say, after the 20 years after the American Revolution, to set that in time for you.
I still personally, acknowledging that there was some sort of perceived invasion of the Burmese, I'm not really sure if the actual story of the two women is 100% true, but it is really nice to think that it was.
Yeah, and
We'll never know.
People wrote in to say, well, it wasn't, the story of painting the sticks black and everything, having all the women dressed like men and stand with sticks on the walls to look like muskets. No, it was Captain Light, who came, I think, originally with the British East Indies Corporation, and he was trading between Penang and Phuket at that time, and he had 2 cannon, and he gave his cannon to Tepka Sitri and Sisunton, and that's what won the war. And perhaps that is a story that makes the Phang look like the hero, and people have, for 200 years, preferred the story that makes the Thai people look like the heroes. Who's to say? But yeah, people wrote in, and somebody wrote in to say, I had said that in the statues, they're standing in armor and they have bound their breasts so as not to impede a drawn bowstring. And somebody said, no, Steve, they weren't shooting arrows, they had muskets, they had cannons, they bound their breasts to look like men. The whole idea was they were masquerading, all the women in the village or in the town were masquerading as men. That's why they bound their breasts. Whatever it is clear, you look at the statue, it is clear that they have wrapped their upper torsos in fabric so as to have a flatter profile.
That was fashionable in the 1920s. It might have been fashionable back then.
It might have been in the 1785s.
There you
might
go.
have been. I mean, already Thai women were wearing short hair back then. They didn't have to cut their hair to look like men. Thai women have always worn, historically, have worn short hair. TikTok is known as Douyin in China.
Yes.
And they're the parent company. I had said that TikTok is banned in China. I think it is not offered in China, but apparently this Douyin is the same thing, and it is available. So many people wrote in to correct me on that. They wrote in to correct.
They love correcting you.
They do.
There is so many people that just watch the program to find out if Steve's saying something wrong.
Yeah, I think honest to God, I think a lot of people, as soon as I make a mistake, they stop watching and they make their comment and then they pat themselves on the back and they go away very satisfied. They don't watch to the end. So I've got to keep all my mistakes for the end so that we get our views long lasting. Some people wrote in to say that Tim got it wrong. Tommy Cooper was a Welsh comedian.
Right.
Yeah, not a
When I said English,
comedian.
I meant UK, but...
Yeah. Well, at any rate, he is Welsh.
He was Welsh.
Yeah.
He died on camera.
Yikes.
Yeah, he was doing one of his routines and not pretty. It's on YouTube if you want to watch.
I'm dying out here.
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear crickets in the audience.
But you got to Google Tommy Cooper. He's astonishing.
Now,
such a talent.
Before
timing.
Timing. Yeah. What's the secret to timing? Before I get to the responses, one last thing. I want to just point out, and I'm not making any kind of political comment here.
Which means Steve's about to make a political comment.
No. Just there are people. There's this kind of Pollyanna, Little Orphan Annie view of Thailand. That, oh, aren't these people friendly? They're smiling all the time. Isn't this the most gentle, kind, sweet kind of place? And there's this redneck kid from Arkansas who does a video channel. He said, I want to stand for everything these Thai people stand for. Okay, dude. There is currently a former prime minister who was sentenced to 8 years in prison, who never served a day, who is now touring the country, meeting all the big shots all over this kingdom, traveling with an armed guard, traveling with a gang of his bodyguards. His minions. He's coming back, and there's absolutely no hue and cry because he's highborn, and it's all it's how the system works here. It's very rare for this to happen in a modern industrialized nation, that somebody so disgraced, literally sentenced to almost a decade in prison, never served a day, and has just come back and is a rock star traveling the country and all. I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying, take a look at that. This is not the country perhaps you think it is. That's all I'm saying. All right, now we move on. Steve has had his rant. Thank you for listening, and thank you for not ducking me.
I was going to actually respond to your comment.
Well, you can. Go ahead. I didn't want to force you into a corner and make you respond. I didn't even say his name. Nobody knew who I was talking about.
Steve might have been talking about Thaksin Shinawatra, who was charged in absentia by the people running an army coup, a junta. So, it's not as if it was a democratically elected government that decided to press charges on a former politician. Not saying that the man is good or bad, but I think you need to have a look at the circumstances in which he was embroiled in controversy and charged accordingly.
Yes, but would those circumstances matter in Australia? If a former Prime Minister of Australia had been sentenced to 8 years in prison, he left the country for 20 years, he came back, never served a day in prison, and now he's going around a rock star getting flower garlands hung around his neck. Can you see that happening in Australia? I don't see that happening in Iowa.
Nothing happens in Iowa.
Well, true enough.
Tornadoes happen there.
Tornadoes do, yes.
No, but yes, look, you're right. I mean, this is Thailand, and
yes.
The old TIT thing comes up in these cases, and people do get their knickers in a knot over these issues. Now, I sort of report the story, if we were talking about Thaksin, in a way that I think I don't really have an opinion. Clearly,
me neither.
Thailand was a different country at the time, and some people think he was great. The people who like wearing their shirts in red, and other people hate the guy. But he has come back to the country.
Big time.
He's sort of, I don't. Anyway.
Do you think if he returns to power, what do you think will change?
He will not return to power. Well, there you go. Isn't
like
that
I said, flower garlands. They're hanging flower garlands on the guy. He's got huge support. He's got huge. They're taking the red shirts out of the closet. He's got huge support. Look, it is Thailand. It is Thailand. And
if that happened, it will keep me busy talking about it for a long time.
It will.
Sure.
My point was that there's a lot of people here who are in that honeymoon period. They're blinded by a lot of things, like getting laid for the first time in their lives, and they have this rosy Pollyanna view of
and they were certain it was a girl.
That she told me she was 18, and they're wearing blinders, and they're sinking enormous amounts of money into this country. They're saying goodbye to their lives abroad, saying goodbye to their family and friends, and coming over here because they think this place is something different.
Just move that far this way. You're just sort of a little bit out of frame there. There you go. That's better.
All right, anyway, enough of that. Now, let me get to the question we put to the Brain Trust. I think, and this is why I printed it out, because I couldn't write all of this stuff longhand.
Why don't you just hold it up to the camera and let them read it? There we go, we don't have to do anything.
Well, that was easy.
Sure.
All right, check bin.
Keptang doi krap. That's what I was taught to say.
Keptang doi krap. Yeah,
That's what
keptang to keep money or grasp money. Kep tang money satang.
You don't have to explain it.
Krap, because we are men. So I said last week, the first time I came to Thailand in 1988 as an adult, I brought condoms. And this time I came when I was 65 and I brought nitroglycerin. What did you bring? If you are Thai and you go abroad, what did you take with you? If you are Phang and you came here, or any other...
We should explain perhaps that nitroglycerin is not only used as an explosive, it can also be used as a chemical to help with keeping a heart rhythm.
Yes, angina. I have used it once in my life, but I carried a bottle in my pocket religiously from 2011 until last year.
I met a woman once.
Always.
She said she had acute angina.
And you said, "Can I see it?"
Right.
It is used for acute angina.
Sure.
At any rate, so I said, as a young man, I brought condoms. As an old man, I brought heart medication. What did you bring? So we got a big response. And if I don't read yours out, it's because it's the same as somebody else's. Alan says, when my wife and I visited England, she took 2 pots of chili paste. Okay, fair enough. Easy to see
Perhaps
coming.
read out the good ones.
When I moved here, what was critical that I brought with me were the drives out of my computer. I could replace the computers over here, but I couldn't replace the data on the drives. That's Gar Nelson. That's very interesting. I brought a plastic baggie with some thumb drives that had old family pictures and things like that I didn't want to give up. Data, bits.
We've now got the cloud. We don't need drives
There you go.
anymore.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yes.
Gar and I came here some time ago then. Packing for Thailand. 1 passport, 1 MasterCard, 1 computer, 1 phone, 2 t-shirts, 2 pairs of shorts, 1 pair of flip-flops. I'm out of here. I like that. It's a laundry list, but it reads like poetry. A lot of people mentioned the bum gun. When they go home, they want to take a bum gun with them. And I was reminded of the Indian men who rented rooms in my mother's house for many years. And they would keep a 2-liter Coke bottle next to the toilet full of water. And I never knew until I came here why they would keep a 2-liter bottle of water next to the toilet. Now I know. Mom didn't have bum guns in the house. 2 things I never saw in Bangkok and had to have sent to me from the States. Grits. If you don't know what grits are, they're completely disgusting breakfast starch.
What's grits?
Grits, it's a potato product, I think. It's little granular, it's like snot with sand in it. It's terrible stuff. But it is emblematic of a diet in the southern United States, and people who grew up with it need it at breakfast. We are most vulnerable, I think, in terms of our palate at breakfast. Those of us who can stand eating bugs at 6 in the evening have to have coffee and toast in the morning, right? I mean, in the morning is when you are most vulnerable, when you are most homesick for the taste of home. So grits, if you grow up eating grits every morning, you need grits. And that tiny little screwdriver you use to repair your glasses.
Oh, but you can buy those here.
I don't know. He says no. He
Yes,
says
you
he's
can.
never seen them in Bangkok.
Absolutely
David
can.
B., thank you for your comment.
I was
Can
thinking,
you?
grits, if it's as revolting as you say, is a good case of onomatopoeia. It sounds as bad
It's
as,
gritty.
as it is.
It's gritty. Well, it's actually very soft and slimy, but it's got little nodules, like when you cut up styrofoam, those little white balls. If you take that and add a bunch of snot.
What is
that's
it
grit.
made from? Oh, don't.
I think potatoes. I think
Okay.
it's a potato product.
Right.
Or corn? I don't know. I'm from Iowa. We don't eat grits. But I would be interested. Brain trust over the next week. See if you can find those little glasses that you would repair your glasses.
The
those
screwdrivers.
Now, every 7-Eleven in America would have that. I think many
can buy
big
them-
grocery stores, Kmart, Target,
What's that?
would
The
have that.
$2 shop thing, the whatever that's called here in Thailand. But they've got those little
right.
jeweler sets.
Yeah, check it out. Back him up. Tell me if
Lazada.
he's
You
right
can
or
buy
not.
them on Lazada.
Yeah, Lazada.
Jewelry.
Easy out.
Jewelry.
Lazada. Deus Ex Machina is Lazada.
Wish I was on commission with Lazada.
Marty Pohl, I love this. Marty, we are kindred spirits. He brought a green ceramic dragon he made in the 5th grade and a piece of the Berlin Wall that he bought on a business trip in Berlin. Those are the only 2 things he brought with him.
He's sure it was from the Berlin Wall.
I don't know, but the fact that he thinks so and brought it with
That's
him.
all that matters.
A green ceramic dragon from childhood and a piece of the Berlin Wall from adulthood, and that's it. He's
Okay.
good with all of that. I imagine this guy living in a very spare house with these 2 items on the mantelpiece and just that, and some bed linen and some clothes, and that's how Marty lives. My cousin Debbie lives in Melbourne. She's originally from New Jersey, as am I. And she told me there's a special, this is in response to something you said. You said people write to you and say, how do you feel about Adolf Hitler being born in Australia? He says, his sister says there's a special counter at the airport in Vienna to handle all the lost people who thought they were going to Australia.
Yes, that's true.
Is that true?
Yes, it is.
Teddy Chef D, thank you for that. You made my day, dude.
That's funny.
I really like that. No, ma'am, this is Austria, not Australia. Would
Yes.
you like to buy some sausage? Do you want some water?
No, thank you. I'm
All
paranoid about spilling water on my my new puta.
This puta. Oh, computer.
Yes. Us people in the industry, we call them putas.
Well, in Spanish-speaking culture, that means something very different. But we go on.
We're on to page 2 out of 27 pages.
Asphalt Pilgrim says he brought anti-malaria medicine. I have never
You can
thought
get
to do
that here, you know.
I don't know. Mr. Chan, when he goes abroad, takes Mama instant noodles. I know that Mama are the best instant noodles. I have tried every other cup of noodle source in the United States. Nothing is as good as Mama, and they don't sell Mama in Iowa City, Iowa. So, Mr. Chan, I hear you. Yeah, take
You
a
can buy
suitcase.
Mama noodles in Thailand.
Mr. Chan is from Thailand. He's talking about going abroad. Try to keep
see.
up. Try to keep up.
Okay.
I'm speaking very clearly
What?
and slowly for the Australian listeners. Shirley Kimber takes English tea. Yeah, very nice. It's her name is Shirley Kimber, but it's pronounced bouquet. A coworker suggested I take condoms to Thailand because they are better quality. The nurse practitioner who was giving me my shots, I've never had shots to come here. Did you have shots to come here?
No.
Yeah, I think that's
Never.
something Big Pharma is selling you, dude. The nurse practitioner said she thought it was a good idea. When I brought them to Thailand, I checked them and they were made in Thailand. Ralph Lewis. So he bought them abroad to bring to Thailand, but it turns out they were made in Thailand anyway.
Thanks, Ralph.
Oh, Athena Sword, absolutely my favorite commenter. She says when she visits her parents in Beijing, she takes a suitcase full of Thai herbs and traditional medicine. My suitcase looks like I robbed a pharmacy. So she's going from Thailand to China. She's taking a pressed lizard and things like that.
Eye of Newt.
Eye of Newt, perhaps the horn of a
Rhinoceros.
Thank you. There are more, or you're getting fidgety. I can tell you're bored. Are you bored?
Oh, no. These are valid comments from the viewer.
The viewers have the microphone. I'm almost done. Cadbury's Dairy Milk and Galaxy Chocolate, Peanut Butter, Hellmann's Mayonnaise. These are coming.
Galaxy Chocolate.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of Galaxy, sorry.
No.
Cadbury, yes.
And his wife, when they go to Canada, she takes 20 kilogram bags of spices. 20 kilograms. But she shares them with her sister in Canada. Gene Carter brought Deep Woods Off for the mosquitoes. Deep Woods Off gives me a rash, Gene. Can't use it.
Yeah, you can buy mosquito spray at 7-Eleven.
My then Thai girlfriend brought Healthy Boy oyster sauce. And then when we got to the UK, she found it in the UK cheaper than she pays for it in Thailand. Peter Martin says that. I don't understand this. Maybe you're my tech guru. The only thing I brought from Australia to Thailand was a PS4 so I can watch English movies on the TV from Dave Ross.
Well, that would be a PlayStation 4.
I guess?
PlayStation, because it's a game console, and
Okay.
can also play movies and things.
Oh, does it?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. So what is Watch English Movies Ext, E-X-T?
Etc. I think it's meant to be.
Oh, etc. On the.
Yes,
oh,
I
I'm
think
sorry,
he's-
Dave. Ha! Okay. And I think this is the last. Oh, this one just sings to me. Who does this come from? Philip Child. Philip Child.
Hey, Philip.
I'd give you a kidney, brother. He brings the book of Sunday Times cryptic crosswords. I've never been able to do the cryptics, but I have done the Sunday Times crossword puzzle on the toilet every single day of my life since 1984.
Even now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I
Really?
brought 4 books with me, and I've ordered one more since I've been here. I'm going to order another one soon.
Funny,
from
when I
Amazon.
go to the toilet, I just tend to evacuate my bowels and get out of there. It's not
No.
a place I want to spend a lot of time.
No, I make it an enjoyable moment. Yeah, I also am not blessed with a body that does that. I have to wait.
Oh, okay.
That's how it goes. Yeah. So I used to keep a paperback book on the back of the toilet. Now it's since '84. It's been consistently the Sunday New York Times crossword puzzle. But yeah, if I was put on a deserted island, that's what I would take, the Sunday crossword puzzle.
Okay.
And I believe
Don't they have puzzles in the United States?
Yes, the Sunday New York Times.
Oh, the Sunday New York
Yeah, I
Times.
assume Philip Child is referring to the Times of London.
Oh, okay.
But I do the Sunday New York Times. He also does the cryptic, and I don't do the cryptic or the
doing
acrostic.
a crossword written
I'm too
by
literal.
an English
Yes.
person versus
Oh,
an
you are.
American, you'd get very confused because the spellings are different and some of the words are different.
And the last one from Bill Hartz, he says that his friends told him to bring a solid, durable can opener, because only cheap ones are sold in Thailand. I suppose that means a mechanical can opener. And he says that he brought a large swing line commercial stapler. Bill, what are you doing that you need a big industrial stapler? I'm maybe selling products in bags. I don't know. But he brought 2 things with him. He brought a can opener and a stapler.
You can buy can openers and staplers here in Thailand.
What was the poor woman sitting at the TSA thing looking at the x-ray, and this thing comes through and there's nothing in the suitcase except a stapler and a can opener?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That is the last from the Brain Trust, and the last thing I had is I want us to do a reading from Waiting for Godot on this show.
Waiting for
Godot.
Godot?
Waiting for Godot. Godot. Why?
Yeah.
How do you say?
Godot.
Godot. Well, all right. It's some Frenchman out there. Please tell us how it's pronounced.
I remember going to see it because that was sort of the cool thing to do when I was at school. I was so bored.
Yeah. So will these people, but I want to do it.
Okay.
Let us know what you think. You want to see a staged reading of Waiting for Godot? Let us know.
It's a two-person, I don't know, about hour, 20-minute play. And they talk, it's like Seinfeld, they talk about nothing.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's
written
the best.
by?
Oh shit, Steve. Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett. Oh, you know, my mother paid a lot for my 4-year theater degree, and if I had not been able to draw Beckett to mind, she would have disowned me, cut me right out of the will.
How's Ms. Rosse?
Oh, I think she's fine. I haven't seen the woman in 2 years, but she is.
You speak to her every day, every couple of days?
Well, Mom posts 30 or 40, she shares 30 or 40 memes every single day on Facebook. So I will like a few so she knows I'm still alive, and I may comment on one or two. And my bank, one of my banks in Iowa that I've just given up getting my new cards, they won't mail my new cards to Thailand. So we jumped through all the hoops for Betty to go down to the bank and receive my 2 new cards, and she mailed them to me, and they were lost or stolen in the mail. Anyway, so we have this never-ending email conversation about Steve's missing debit cards. So we are in contact every day. And as far as I know, she is still healthy enough. She has committed to coming to visit Thailand for 2 months.
Amazing.
She's 90. She's going to come.
90.
Will be 90 in December of this year. This is her 90th year. And she is coming with a dear old friend, Amy, and they're going to come and spend 2 months in Bonneville and on Turtle Beach. And I'm excited and happy I'll get to see her, and that I don't have to go back to America. So yeah, that's how Betty's doing.
Now somebody, I think when we spoke about this a few months ago, said, "Oh, how insensitive that you aren't going back to America." I'm thinking, isn't it great that a 90-year-old, I mean, she's reasonably fit, obviously still got it all together, wants to get on a plane and come out to a country that she hasn't been to for a long, long time.
Yeah, and
I
listen,
think it's great.
If you think this is Steve being insensitive, you don't know jack about Steve.
He's done a lot worse
This ain't
than that.
nothing, dude. This woman has been my mother for 66 years. You think this is the first or the worst insensitivity? My moving to Thailand, that's the worst? Dude, read my books.
As we look out upon the Aquella golf course, what do you notice about it?
It's very green for this time of year.
Well, I was going to say the opposite. I thought it was very brown. There's bits of green, like on the greens.
I would say there's bits of brown. I think they must spend a fortune on water to water this place. Unless they have some kind of a weird mutated grass that grows well with no water. You know, this was the only place that had any damage in the tsunami of 2004.
I think we've mentioned that 17 times.
This is 18. With 20, I get a free sandwich.
Sure. But it is getting a little... We are sort of at the end, the business end of the hot season. And everybody's saying, well, you know, it'll start raining anytime soon. We're now in the midst of May, and looking at the radar for the next week and looking at the forecast, there doesn't appear to be any moisture on the way as we are sipping on our...
When it comes, you know, I've been complaining about the heat for a month. When the rains come, I'll complain about the rains.
What do you do to keep cool? Because you don't have any air conditioning in your...
Yes, I do, in the bedroom. And I have slept in air conditioning for 2 weeks, I'm thinking now, 10 days or 2 weeks, yeah. Last year I didn't use it at all, and I had horrible heat rash on my back. And I thought, A, it's expensive, and B, I'm trying to live green, I'm trying to use fewer resources. And you live on the beach, Steve, there's a constant breeze 24 hours a day.
There is.
Your bedroom has windows, you've got 2 fans in the bedroom. Steve, you don't need air conditioning. Brother, I'm telling you, the last 2 weeks, I have slept in air conditioning every single night, and I take 10 showers every single day in tepid water. And it's been miserable. It's been absolutely
Well, what
miserable.
you might be spending on air conditioning, you're not spending on heating the water, because it comes out of the tap warm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's really not as refreshing as you would like it to be, but you get your body wet, you stand in front of a fan, and you cool down a
Feel
little
good.
bit.
Yeah, I think as we get older, we might be doing that at some stage soon. We perhaps don't cope with the heat as well. So I think in some ways it is definitely statistically hotter, but I just don't think we cope with it as well as we used to.
I never coped with it well, and I certainly do not cope with it now.
Yet you came to live in Thailand?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, wasn't thinking about the weather.
What were you thinking about?
The food.
Yes.
No, this trip, the first time I came for the reasons that a 30-year-old man would come alone to Thailand. And stayed for the reasons.
The temples.
I was studying Buddhism. I had studied Buddhism at the Thai temple in White Plains, New York for a year before coming here. Every Saturday, not every day. I wasn't a monk, but I was serious about my Buddhism. But no, I came for the reasons a young, single, introverted, socially awkward, fat, pimply guy would come to Thailand, and stayed for those reasons for 7 years. This time I came because I promised myself when that fat, pimply guy left that he would come back. He promised himself, and I'm keeping that promise. That's why I'm here now. There was no thought about what I would find when I got here, except that I'd been dreaming about being here and promised myself I would be here. And I'm very glad to have found some place that I enjoy, because I'd be stuck with it, whatever it was.
Yeah, you've hit the bank.
I did. I stumbled into paradise. Thank you, Baz Daniel.
And
thank you once
I
again
thank you
for introducing me. Yeah, it's. I'm very, very, very happy to have washed up on the beach I washed up on.
Yeah, and because I'm busy, I'm very happy here. But I'm starting to meet people and starting to sort of make new friends, and I've got old friends coming to visit me from Australia. From Phuket. We've got our Eurovision. We've got a couple of friends coming up next week for the Eurovision. You've never watched Eurovision?
No, never once, no.
You're in for a shock.
It's not big in Iowa, so, yeah.
I've seen the Australian entry. I'm giving back my passport. Oh my God, it's so bad. So I won't be making the finals.
You schedule your whole year around this event.
Australia's just one entry.
Yeah.
So
there may be another ABBA. I suppose every year you sit there thinking one of these bands could break in as huge as ABBA did. Weren't there other winners that have? See all these these guys aren't from Thailand.
Oh no,
these guys are with
blow-ins.
their matching shirts. They've got matching shirts on.
He's got 3XL.
See, he's got a 3XL. Sure. Where's my 3XL? Yeah.
Oh, they're matching.
They look like a rock band. They look like a
ZZ Top.
ZZ Top cover band.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, whatever. They've got lives going on.
Sure.
These guys should be vlogging.
Oh, they seem to know the people here.
They're well known.
And with that, I was going to talk about Eurovision. It is on this week. It starts this week, and they have all the run-ups, and they've got the 2 semi-finals and the final. We watch the final next Sunday night.
Okay.
So next Sunday,
it's on my calendar.
It's radio silent. You can't go on the internet.
What time of the day is it?
It's on. Well, we watch it in the evening.
Oh, okay.
But it's actually on very early on Sunday.
Oh,
live.
so I can't look at the internet because I'll know who won.
Exactly.
Because all of my Facebook friends will be talking about who won Eurovision for sure. Yeah.
It would make a headline on an American TV show.
At the moment, unless it's happening in a court of law in New York City, no, nothing. I don't watch the news. I don't watch the news, but all of the few American Facebook friends I still have, that's all they're posting. That's all the comedians are talking about. That's all that's going on.
Well, this year, you mentioned the Swedish group called
ABBA.
ABBA, yeah, I think you said ABBA. Anyway, they won the Eurovision Song Contest 50 years ago this year. 50 years!
Yeah, it's a long time. We're very old.
The coup will be if they open up the this year's. Oh, that would be the coup.
The 3D. Speaking of AI, the 3D ABBA, the hologram.
They get
ABBA,
the real ones. They're all still alive.
Are they still singing and dancing?
Well, I mean, they may not.
They can't be that old, right? They get 70.
Yeah, they're in the 70s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, sure. Okay.
So that'd be, strumming their guitar, but they may not be wiggling their hips.
Shake it till you break it.
Or the
literally.
Or the
at our
girls
age.
either. Anyway, Eurovision's on this week. I love it. Steve's never seen it. I'm sure he will give you his impression of it.
It's showbiz. I love anything showbiz, man. It's performance
The
art. I love it.
staging is
There you go.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
You'll love it.
Now, singing competitions traditionally don't have a lot of props, so my interest comes and goes. But anything on stage done in front of an audience, I'm all about that.
Thank you for watching Grumpy Old Men this week. Please send us any comments. Steve got it wrong. I mean, in the off chance that Tim got it wrong, can you imagine? No. Otherwise, I'll be back with the usual TNT program. Steve, of course, has got his own program. He actually got 2 channels now.
Yeah, I do.
How'd your new channel go?
500 views in a couple days.
Wow, well done.
For a brand new channel, yeah. And it's really interesting because the comments, we live in an atmosphere here in Thailand, in the YouTube Thailand atmosphere. It's kind of caustic. There's a lot of kind of bald aggression going on, and people throwing shade at each other. And in the beachcombing community, no, it's all very supportive and sweet and friendly.
Because you'd be attracting different viewers for this.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And so I'm interested. It's been 2 days. Is that right? No, I don't remember. Maybe a week. Maybe it's been a week now. At any rate, it's.
You posted it last week.
I guess, yeah. At any rate, thank you for asking. The new channel is called Beachcombing on Turtle Beach, Thailand. And
your usual channel is called
Steve Ross with an E.
Because that's what it says on your T-shirt.
That's what it says. It says T Ross. No, it does say Steve. And again, yeah, I wish I could wear it, dude. It's too small. I can't get in it.
I've luckily got the figure of an 18-year-old, so it fits me perfectly.
In a jar in his desk drawer.
Thank you, Leonardo. It's the body of an 18-year-old. That was funny, Steve. Steve, you can subscribe to his 2 channels, and you can subscribe to mine as well. So all the way from Aquella Golf Course, which is looking a little bit brown, but there's still plenty of golfers.
For
It's goodbye from me and
goodbye from me. Thank you for watching.